Welcome to ukulele lesson number 6, 2 new chords. This is the point where we're going to back up and basically start over. This is the point that most ukulele books would start teaching you these two things. This would be the very first two things that you would learn. And they're hard and they're discouraging and frustrating, and most people quit. And I know a lot of you are taking lessons with me because you've tried to learn by books that taught these two chords first and you quit. And it's just not fair. So I discovered years ago teaching fourth graders it was much better to start with F and C7, learn some songs, have some fun with it, and then come back to these two chords to open up a lot more songs for us. So the very first chord that we're going to learn is on lesson page 6A. Hopefully you've downloaded and printed that. In the first chord chart we see the chord C. This is not C7, which we learned before, but just plain C. You're going to have the first string, finger number 3, which is your ring finger, and you're going to place it just above the 3rd fret. Remember to keep your thumb planted firmly on the back of your ukulele. Don't let your hand cup it because this is not going to work. Thumb on the back. Finger 3 just above the 3rd fret on string 1, and it should sound like this. This is a hard chord to keep in tune, mostly because of the tendency of the A string to be out of tune. So you might find that it sounds a little odd because the two C's might not match up quite exactly. A lot of it depends on the quality of your ukulele. I say just go with the flow, play, have some fun. Don't worry so much about the tuning. All right, so let's do some strums together of the C chord. Let's play 8 strums together while you're holding the C chord position. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. All right, now for the hard part, moving up to G7. There are 3 strings involved and 3 fingers involved. So I'm going to try to get in here so you can really see what I'm doing. Finger number 1 is going to go to string number 2 just above the 1st fret, which is how the F chord started out. Okay, so that should be a pretty familiar spot for it. Finger 3 is going to go above it, kind of almost crossing over it, it feels like in your muscles, over to the 3rd string just above the 2nd fret. Finger number 3 has to slide underneath and get on the 2nd fret of string number 1. So let's go through this again. Finger 1, string 2 above the 1st fret. Finger 2, 3rd string above the 2nd fret. And finger 3, 1st string above the 2nd fret. If you can get all that held down, it should sound like this. That is going to sound more like that C7 chord sounded, like it's leading to something, and that something it's leading to is for you to go and slide this finger down to play C. So here we go, sliding back up to make G7. Sliding back down to C, back up to G7, back down to C. At this point, you probably want to pause and practice going back and forth and getting as comfortable as you possibly can before trying the exercises on 6B. All right, the first practice line we have is line number 14. We see that it's in 4/4 time, and that the first chord we have is C, also happens in the 2nd measure, and then in the 3rd measure and the 4th measure we're going to have G7. We also have a repeat sign, so we're going to do this line 2 times. So I've got my fingers into the C chord position, and we're going to start. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, number 15. We're going to go switching back and forth a little sooner. This line is in 3/4 time, so we're going to have 3 strums per measure, and again we have a repeat sign at the end. So we start with C. Line number 15. 1, 2, go. Switch, 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 repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Line number 16. We're going to practice switching a little faster. First measure we have C, second measure we have G7, third measure we have 2 strums of C and then 2 strums of G7, and then the last measure we have 3 strums of C and then a quarter rest. Go ahead and be sure that you silence your strings for the quarter rest, and then we'll repeat. Line 16. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Next line, number 17, you might have noticed that these exercises are looking really familiar. They're exactly the same exercises that we did practicing between F and C7. They're just written out for C and G7. So hopefully that familiarity will help you with knowing when to change. All right, first chord is C. We're going to do 2 lines in a row. There is not a repeat sign. We're going to go a little slower to give you time for all these changes and rests. 1, 2, ready, go. C, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3. Next line, C, 2, G7, C, 2, G7, 4, C, sh, G7, sh, C, G7, C, sh. Okay, when you are familiar with all of those, I think you are ready to do Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Yes, the same song again, just with new chords. So on your own, you can practice doing just the strums, then humming with the strums, and then singing with the strums. Right now, we're going to sing and do the strumming together. The first note we sing, row, you'll find it a little more singable down in this key of C. First chord is C. 1, 2, ready, go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. All right, when you are comfortable with Row, Row, Row Your Boat with C and G7, go ahead and head to lesson number 7, where we will learn the same 3 songs you learned for C and F, C7 and F, in our new chords.